freezing your eggs. Not a good idea, and we'll tell you why. The famous beer test and why the commies can't seem to pass it, and saluting a true American hero. Welcome to the Jay Sheldon Show. Happy Wednesday. We are halfway through the week. It is hump day. Thanks for joining us. We're live on Rumble and YouTube. Please follow and subscribe and get a thumbs up over there on both platforms. We appreciate that. All right, we got a lot going on. We're going to get right into it for this Wednesday. Freezing your eggs is bad biology. Full stop. And at 36 years old, like one rather horse-mouthed politician we all loathe, it's even worse. Modern women really, really need to reject the old AOC lifestyle. Have kids when your bodies are primed for it, even if it results in setbacks in your career. America's favorite liberal idiot female Democrat socialist, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, took to Instagram, as we told you this past weekend, to create a Get Ready With Me vlog about freezing her eggs. She's 36 years old. Now, in her video, she called the process of pumping her body full of chemicals badass and said she felt empowered and more in control of my life. Now, regardless of this moron's feelings, pursuing fertility at 36 years old is about as flawed as, say, starting to invest for your retirement when you're 60. Both supposed to happen early for maximum payoff. You know how that whole thing works? Yeah. The healthiness of a woman's eggs and her ability to carry a child to term drop dramatically by late 30s. Even leading IVF, in vitro fertilization scientists, they recognize this. There is a study by the American Society of Reproductive Medicine, which is a leading IVF research institute. They found that only, listen to this, only slightly more than 20% of women at or over the age of 36 successfully carried a child from their frozen eggs to term, to birth. AOC, trying desperately to explain on her Instagram why women may want to freeze their eggs, said they haven't found their person, she's suggesting as one of the many reasons. They want to have a little bit of breathing room so they don't feel pressured to enter parenthood with someone they otherwise wouldn't choose. Now, okay, maybe that's true for AOC, considering she's been in a relationship with the same man for over 10 years now and engaged to him for 4 of those years, but shows no sign of getting married, starting a family anytime soon. AOC even admitted in a recent Instagram story that she, quote, saved a long time for egg freezing. Now, she is far from the only woman looking to push off starting a family while relying on cryopreservation for potential future fertility. The Society for Assisted Reproductive Technology found that its member clinics executed roughly 6,000 cycles for freezing eggs in 2014 and nearly 39,000 in 2024. Wow, 500% increase in the last 10 years. The UK's Human Fertilization Authority, 44% increase. Same site found the average age of a woman freezing her eggs was 35 and 40 when she thawed them. By the time AOC decides to have kids, it may be too late for her body. Or even for her fiancés. A woman's chance of getting pregnant per cycle drops dramatically after 30. By the age of 40, the early 40s, chances have gone from 20 to 25% to 5 to 10%. By 45, even further, less than 3%. IVF treatments only slightly reset the clock. ASRM's study on the healthiness of male sperm and its connection to mental defects in children found that offspring risks begin to emerge by a paternal age of 40 and are formidable by a paternal age of 50 years. For example, the study found the risk of bipolar disease increases considerably in children fathered by a man in his 40s and 50s. An increasingly common tactic AOC may be utilizing to prevent any adverse effects on her potential future child is hiring a surrogate to carry her egg using a younger man's sperm, or simply buying an embryonic child using a surrogate. Either option exposes the modern dystopian world of fertility, and it ain't a pretty one. A better and much more historical, consistent option for modern women is to simply reject this AOC lifestyle and have children when women and men are primed for it, even if it results in a bit of a setback to your career. Male bodies are primed for it, female bodies ready. Peak female fertilities in their 20s, same true of men. And before IVF and fourth wave feminism, having children around that time was perfectly normal. I believe I was born when my mom was 20 or 21, something like that. The change to childbearing in your 30s, relatively recent phenomenon. A CDC article found in 1990, women less than 30 accounted for about 70% of births. In 2023, they accounted for about half. Youch. CDC also found that as women started having children later, fertility rates plummeted. American families hit the replacement rate at 2.1 children per family in 1990. U.S. birth rate 2023 was 1.62, well below replacement. Incredible. According to this article from Emma Waters, 2025, she's a senior policy analyst at the Heritage Center. She says there's no single reason for declining birth rates. No single solution will reverse them. She does offer a first step towards fostering an American community where the kinds of choices AOC is marketing are crowded out by those benefits parents and babies. Leaders in politics, she says, business, media, faith communities have to champion family life, not just as a personal choice, but a cornerstone to national prosperity, to growing this country. Building a pro-family culture is not just about politics and policies. It's about everyday choices to welcome children into our spaces. And that is indeed what it should be all about. Good morning, Danny. Good morning, Marilyn. Welcome in. Hello. Nice to have you along for the ride. Got a major legacy media fail here. Oh, man, this is a goodie. Why don't these load? Okay. Here is the best example I could find lately for why we cannot trust the legacy media. Monday, 2 days ago, NBC News on its X account posted the breathtaking story of a young man who was in the custody of ICE when he reportedly had a stroke. NBC described the stroke patient as a North Carolina pastor and ran with a photo of a smiling young man in a graduation gown and cap, along with an image of him, presumably with his family. They promptly got community noted. The DHS replied to the NBC link in that note, and DHS brought, as the late Paul Harvey would have said, the rest of the story. The North Carolina pastor, they write, is Gabriel Johnson, a criminal illegal alien from Liberia whose lengthy rap sheet includes convictions for drug possession, fraud, mail theft, use of unauthorized access devices, false citizenship, multiple trafficking offenses, etc., and so forth and so on. So this North Carolina pastor, who's just such a wonderful human being, use of unauthorized access, false citizenship, multiple traffic offenses, harassing communications, simple assault, taken to the hospital July 30th with stroke-like syndrome, and currently being monitored for high blood pressure. He's in stable condition. He will remain in ICE custody pending removal from this country. Good. Bye. He should have been deported the minute he was medically cleared to travel. Get out. Look, we keep seeing this kind of thing where the legacy media opens up with some rendering of garments and gnashing of teeth over some illegal alien who's been in the U.S. for years, never made the slightest effort to normalize their status. It doesn't matter a jolt if Gabriel Johnson's been in the U.S. legally for 1 hour or a decade. He's here illegally. He knowingly remained in this country illegally, and he should be repatriated. We have no place here in the U.S. for people like this. We've got enough homegrown criminals as it is. We don't need to be importing any more. And furthermore, it does not make one iota of difference, even if Johnson later cleaned up his act and now actually is a pastor, which seems a bit doubtful. He's in the country illegally, okay? He broke immigration laws. He's broken other laws. And in the years he was here after his visa expired in 1988, when Ronald Reagan was president, for crying out loud, he apparently made no effort to change his immigration status. So now he's being sent back to Libya. Bye-bye, it's where you should have been right from the beginning. And NBC's ex-post about Gabriel Johnson misleading and totally irresponsible. They ought to retract it, but trust me, they will not. Stand by, we'll be right back. Okay, we're sort of back. I got a few things going on here. We may have to end the show early today. Again, we'll see what happens. Hopefully not. Danny says truth about our freezing your egg story. Had 2 miscarriages in a row at 35 and 36. I'm very blessed to have AJ and this little girl now. Risks of Down syndrome also increases a lot indeed. All right, look, folks, I am really, really sorry, but I have got to go. Once again, we're going to end the show early. I will be back again tomorrow. We'll try it again. Thanks for popping by.